Hello guys, I'm here today with some match commentary. This match is the standard finals WGP 2019 between Tachikaze and Narukami. This is the last tournament match, I believe, before Angry Blader got restricted to one. But I just wanted to provide some commentary on this, some insight as to kind of why why Angry Blader got restricted, or just how they played, right, to get up to this point. Yes, some of it is because of luck, because standard is filled with more luck than premium. But other than that, let's see how they play. This is a live reaction. I've not watched this yet. So my reactions will be the same as you if you haven't watched this yet. But here we have Shota Aiba playing Tachikaze versus Yoshifumi Nozawa playing Narukami. And as some of you may know, Narukami is the hardest matchup for Tachikaze, at least at the time of the match. But let's get into it. I mean, this is just pre-mulligan standard setup stuff. It's kind of fitting for Tachi to have those color sleeves. But then it's offsetting when Narukami has those sleeves. As far as I know, Shota Aiba is playing the 4 Anger Blader build. I don't think he has any techs as last time I saw it. I don't know about Yoshifumi Nozawa. Haven't looked at his list. Looks like they both put 2 back. I would put on the sound, but the sound would just I would just talk over their commentary, and so it wouldn't be as great. Oh, so Shota goes first, rides into Savage Trooper, draws off starter, passes turn, I'm guessing. Well, of course, he looks over, yep. Not the ideal start, but I mean, Naru has ways to retire back row units, since I would have put down Zenfilo. He doesn't get anything. Attacks Vanguard for 8. Drive checks a draw. Tachi's tried to check the crit. There's a Zenfilo in hand. Yeah, he just didn't want to call it out. Does he have something else to ride? Yeah, he has that Mega Rex. Oh, he has a Sweeper Smilodon combo in hand. Oh, so he goes for it. Okay. Sweeper skill activates on Smilodon skill activates on Sweeper. Yeah, rearguard first, then Vanguard to draw. Smilodon skill and Sweeper to gauge. Blocks with the draw that he checked. Smart. Retires draws. Personally, wouldn't have done that, but since it's Narukami, it makes more sense. Checks another Zandafilo. That's huge. That's another 2 gauge that he could utilize on Anger Blader. Sleeper's now untargetable, which is big. And since he's on grade 1, he doesn't go into Gauntlet Buster yet. Right Cho-O. Can it target? No, you target the column, then you retire a rear guard. I thought it doesn't work if you don't have a back row rear guard. I'm gonna look this up. Cho-O. Anyways, he calls out Dragoon. Doesn't get anything, checks a normal unit. Attacks with a Dragoon. Since he bound this turn, he gets plus another 5k. takes it, gets a draw off of it. Rides into Anger Blader, XL2 draws. See that Bomb Raptor he has? Yeah, the Bomb Raptor in hand. Also, Cho does get around since it says bind a front row rear guard, not that it chooses. Okay. He's planning at his attacks. Yoshifumi looks like he has around 7 cards in hand, so he's gonna be pushed to low cards. Yeah, it's around 7. He can definitely retire for Bomb Raptor, it's just he needs to put gauge on it first, since there's only 1 card to retire. Calls Bomb Raptor, calls Sweeper. Okay, Xenophilo on Bomb Raptor, yep. And oh, +5. Okay. Pretty sure you called the other Xenophilo. Put another gauge to it. Yeah. No, does he counterblast twice? No. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So he puts it there. Gauges. It's basically +25 including the Excel marker, so that's at 34, which is good numbers. There's a trooper in hand. Oh, he has 2 Barbarios. Okay. Calls out the trooper. Gauges Thunderfilo over under trooper. Yep. Okay, target sweeper. Doesn't really matter which one. I think he's just gonna do both. Yeah, does that call? Yeah, trooper just has an extra 5k. It's not much. That's smart. Yeah, leaving it behind Anger Blader so that he can get the extra boost if Nozawa hits a trigger. Super attacks for 24. Which is 20k guard on his 9k base. Yeah. Nozawa is laughing. He knows what's going on. 34. 38. Just takes straight. Those are all normal units. That's really sad. It's 25 to Vanguard. Says as such. Oh, he no guards it. Draw a trigger. Power on Trooper. Smilodon. Yeah. That's game 1. There were no triggers in his damage zone. That's what made him lose. I think if he got at least 1 damage trigger, he might have survived, but he didn't really show his hand. Going to pre-mulligan for game 2. It's back to commentary. Let me see if I can skip this. Okay, game 2. It looks like both of them are going to put 2 back again, just like last time. So this looks like a best of 3. So Narukami is probably going to go first. It's funny how they make you like flip over your starter again for each game, but I guess that's just out of respect for the rules. Rising Phoenix, which is good for Soul Blast skills. Writes the Thunderfilo. Ooh. Yeah, draws the Laser Rex. Ooh, he calls it out. Did not expect that. Well, that's susceptible to bite now, but I guess it just puts on more pressure. It guarantees some damage as long as he doesn't hit a trigger. He hits a crit trigger. That, yeah. I guess it also makes him waste some resources. I mean, at the same time, damage denying the deck is also a plausible way to go about it. Yeah, he calls out for counter aggression. Attacks Vanguard. Gets the heal, puts it on rear guard. Damage checks the sweeper. That's kind of bad. Takes that 2. Oh, those are 2 units you don't want to see. It's surprising that Nozawa didn't just not call anything out and only attack the rear guard. Yeah, it has to ride the sweeper. It doesn't have any pieces for next turn. I don't know if he looked at Laser Rex's gauge, but this looks like a losing game. Attacks the rear. That's smart. Checks the bomb raptor. Yeah, it's not that great. Giving them a, I guess giving them damage would be fine since you're trying to push them and kill them as fast as you can. Rides Vanquisher. XL2. Nozawa is currently trying to decide how to do things. I'm sure he knows what to do since I'm pretty sure WGP 2019 has had a lot of Tachi Kaze players because of how strong the deck was for no reason. Oh, I mean, it's not that bad. He already has 1 in hand. Though, that lets him call out a Shatura. These damage checks are so bad. Vanquisher goes in. Just lets it through. Oh, yeah, he might have to take this one. But if he takes this one, he has to... Okay, yeah, he doesn't. Draws into another trigger. That's a feels bad moment. Nozawa is trying to conserve hand so that he can survive these turns, but also not leave as many rear guards out for Aiba to retire in case of Bomb Raptor. Moves Laser Rex up. Looks like he's trying to use Rabario for Laser Rex just because it already has a gauge on it. He's also hovering over that Anger Blader as possible gauge. Oh, calls over it to get the gauge. What's the gauge? Oh, it's done to Philo. Okay. Rest. Yep. Yeah, do that, and then that skill. That still goes off. Oh, okay. So he's trying to push as much damage as he can before he needs to go out. But he's at 4, so he's in a pretty risky situation right now. 17 to his 22, so that's 1 to pass. Nozawa's hand is kind of big. At least for at this state of the game. Guards his Rising Phoenix for 2. Checks Thunderfilo and Rabario. 29 with Bomb Raptor. It's only a 10k guard where he could let it through for damage. Though the problem letting it through is that you're more susceptible to the rush next turn if he survives. Yeah, he just took it. Right, another Vanquisher for another Excel marker. This turn is probably the turn that he goes out since he has a huge hand. Uses Vanquisher skill. Calls that out, makes Aiba bind a card, soul charges, and then calls out Rising Phoenix for the +3. I have no idea what that grade 2's name is. I can't pronounce that grade 2's name. Calls it Cho-Oh. Yeah, Cho-Oh's a restander. You can just attack with it first. Gets a heal. So that helps him out a lot. Yeah, Vanquisher skill is if you bind 2 or more that turn, all your front rows get +10, right? Haven't played against the deck yet, but I think that's what the skill was. But Aiba's in a pretty good position defensively right now since he got 2 triggers back to back. One of them was heal, one of them was a draw, which helps him out a lot. Well, it is 3 to 5, so still pretty risky situation for him right now. Trying to measure out powers. I mean, both these decks are rushdown decks, and both these decks do need counterblast. But I guess with a matchup such like this, Tachis can't really stall it while Vanquisher can. Yeah, it looks like that was a 1-up pass, and then Nozawa got no triggers off of that. Which kind of sad. Looks like he's just attacking, get that Phoenix out, and to draw. Oh, you get to call a card out too. Okay. Yeah, the Shatura will be big enough so it gets power when called. Soul Blast draw for the other grade 2, and then you call another. Okay, he's just gonna call Shatura over Shatura. Yeah, he just drops 2 heals just so he can conserve his pieces. That double trigger was lucky though. If he didn't get that, he would have lost. Aiba draws a Smilodon, so all he can do is hope that he gets something off of Anger Blader. Oh, it's a crit. So I guess all he can do is stack gauges on top of 1 unit. It looks like he has 2 raw Barrios, so he should be able to produce 2 big ones. He does have 3 soul. It's enough. He has 4 counterblasts. Oh, he has another Thunderphilo in hand. Not going to lie, guys, I honestly forgot Vanquisher was a deck build for Narukami. Since I haven't played any Vanquisher decks at all since the set release, so I wouldn't know anything. I do vaguely remember his skill though. All I know is that the deck's rushed down, but a little more consistent. He's planning out his calls. He wants to see what he can put his gauges on. Yeah, so Smilodon puts gauge on itself. He just calls that a crit. Looks like he's just going to use both those Xanophilos to stack gauges. I think he'll rest both on the crit, so it makes more sense, so that the crit can actually hit numbers. Looks like they're both laughing because this is crazy. Okay, 1 Smilodon, I guess. You want to put the other on the crit though. Then what I don't see a lot is players using Thunderfula skill, at least to its full advantage, because sometimes what I'll see is that they'll use a skill, or at least a gauge skill, but won't use a power skill. And sometimes the power skill would have won them the game if they did it, but they don't. I mean, you can't use it when you're on low on counterblast, but when you can use it, right, it's better that way. Yeah, so one on there just to make a 15k base, so it can at least hit. And then he gauges both of these. Yeah, so far looking at his hand, I think he'll have three retires. So it'll be both of the Thunderfulos, and then it'll be one of the Rarbarios. Yep. So plus 20 on that crit, so it's at 35. Yeah. And then Rabario as gauge retires that. Then another Rabario on the other one, so plus another 20. That's at 39, so we have 35 and 39. Those are still big attacks. Don't think he wants the gauge off of Smilodon though, but the extra gauge that it gave itself definitely did help out. They're just counting numbers right now. Nozawa is making sure so that he knows what to guard with. He's also at 3 damage, so it's not as threatening. But I guess it because he pushed out last turn by calling two Shaturas over each other that he's a little worried. So this could kill him depending on the triggers. If he hits crits and he can't guard the rear guard with the crit, or he just like lets the Vanguard through, then it's game over. Though I can't say anything since I don't know what's in his hand, but through like him checking triggers, looks like he doesn't have more than one PG in hand, or like one or less. He also didn't check any triggers last turn, which might mean that because of his expression, he might not have a lot of trigger units to guard with. He guards with a crit and Rising Phoenix. Oh, he actually gauges onto the Barbario just to do it. Okay. I guess if he draws into another Thunderfilo, I don't know if he's gone through all of them yet, but I guess if he draws into another one, he can move the gauge. This can be 25 to Vanguard, restamp both of those. Crits at 40 and Smilodon's at 44. Oh, he did have a bunch of triggers in hand, so that's 47. So that's a no pass. Guess he's going for that no pass. Doesn't want to risk it. I don't think there's a lot of crits revealed. That's a draw trigger. Puts power on Smilodon, draws. Second check, Thunderfeel. Yeah, he needed the crit to win. He drew a heal. Yeah, that feels bad. Attacks for 40. Oh, he has 3 cards in. Oh, he's hoping, huh? Oh, he gets a draw. Man. Well, this is 49. Yeah, PG. Drops the Rising Phoenix. Yeah, Aiba is dead at this point. Nozawa, oh, he writes a 3rd Vanquisher. Man. Yeah, at this point, Aiba is kind of dead with his 3 cards in hand. Can technically only guard 2 attacks. He's almost out of heals, it looks like. But I don't think he's going to be hitting a heal. With all the Rising... 3 Rising Phoenix in the drop. So they're all going to get called out through Vanquisher skill. And that is a lot of soul. Yeah, binds the Smilodon so that it can give gauge. Binds the heal from hand. Yeah, so he knows what's in his hand. Just calls him out. Oh, okay, I guess he's saving that one for multi-attacks. Never mind, he... Okay, sure. Oh, that's kind of disorientating. One's a congrats promo, the others are double rares. Attacks with a standalone Phoenix just takes it, yeah. That makes sense. More commentary. Let's skip through this. Game 3 pre-mulligan. Well, I mean, you guys can probably guess who wins, but we're still gonna go through this game since, I guess, just to analyze how this last game is played. Since both players are on their last match, their mentalities, of course, are gonna be different than game 1, game 2. Though it looks like they're both having fun. They're both smiling. Kind of. The Anger Blader build is certainly a build that, or at least a deck that has overstayed its welcome, at least in my opinion. Some of you may disagree with me because it was the boss card and then got restricted to 1, but it did overstay its welcome in the meta. Oh, that's a full G assist. He's not. 2 sweepers, a bomb raptor, Smilodon, Anger Blader, and a draw. So what I think he'll do is remove bomb raptor and the draw, hoping that he'll get another grade 2 or something. Yep. Yeah, since the sweeper Smilodon play, if you go first against Narukami turn 2, is really good. He draws Laser Rex, which he might call out, like in case he calls Smilodon. Don't even know what it is. Can't really see it on the camera. Nozawa's taking a deep breath. Oh, they both have the G assist. That's funny. Vanquisher or 2 Cho-Os, Zuitan and 2 crits. Though he's a little worse off. Gets a Rising Phoenix, which is decent. It's decent. If he can Soul Blast. He'll probably remove a Cho-O and a crit. Or he'll... oh, he removes a Zuitan. Guess he wants the aggression, but... it's basically the same amount of value. He really does not like showing the camera. Checks a Shatura. Doesn't get another grade 2, so I'm guessing he'll write sweeper. I don't know why he moved it up, but sure. I mean, if you were a... oh. Card in his deck is upside down. But if they're like hardcore judges, they would have called, hey, you went to main phase for that. I don't blame him, though. Looks like the gauge that he got, he didn't want. I did see some upside down cards, but I thought he caught that. I didn't think that he didn't catch him. So they're just waiting for the judge to put his cards back, right? I don't know if they're shuffling it, since he didn't exactly look at the deck. Like, now they're just waiting for the judge. Oh, okay, so I guess they shuffled it, and then they're giving Nozawa the option to cut or shuffle or whatever. I mean, that's fine. It's after he got his gauge and after everything else. I didn't think that he wouldn't be riding sweeper, though. I thought that going to sweeper was a better play here. But if your gauge under Laser Rex was super bad, then this makes sense. This makes sense. Just to conserve resources, would have rode sweeper. Oh. I guess that's... yeah. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. It's an extra gauge you don't have to deal with. Gets a draw trigger. That's really good. It just depends on what he draws. I couldn't exactly see that. So he puts power in rear guard, which... Oh, Nozawa also got a draw trigger. They're both running extra draws. Attacks for 18, 18. Guards with the Shatura. I mean, he's better off this game though. He's only 1 damage. He wasn't pushed to 2 like last game. It is a difference though, being at 1 versus being at 2 for an Anger Blader turn. Yeah, there he got the crit off of his first gauge, but Smilodon was the second gauge. Gets another draw trigger. He gets the heal trigger. Though he might have wanted that. Rise into Anger Blader, Excel 2, draws a card. Mega Rex. I can't exactly see what's all in his hand. Move Sweeper up. Just checking his soul. I think he's trying to fish for pieces. I can see a Barbario, Laser Rex. I don't know if that's 2 Laser Rex or that's a Bomb Raptor, Mega Rex, and 2 draw triggers. One is a PG. He was hovering over that. Yeah, I think he's just calling out stuff. Yeah, this turn's just for hand advantage. He's not committing anymore. Though Nozawa is at 1, so it'd be ill-advised to rush. Ugh. Oh, he attacks first. I would have expected him to do it after that. Yeah, it doesn't use the second part of the skill for the extra gauge, but he didn't gauge anything for it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Sweeper going in for 24. It's a 20k guard in grade 2, so it's not like you want to anyways. 17. Checks hand cards. Just checks crits because he doesn't want to get critted. Though I mean, the crit was revealed through a gauge bind or a rear guard bind. He has a decent amount of cards in hand, actually. Well, guards for a 1 to pass. Ballsy. Thunderphilo, Barbario, the same as last game. Dang. I mean, this deck doesn't check a lot of triggers from my experience. Takes another damage and gets a heal. That is huge, actually. So it depends what he does this turn. He does have 4 attacks, but yeah, it just depends what he does. Well, he's guaranteed 4 attacks at least. But yeah, it depends on what he does this turn. If he can bind that sweeper, it's game over. Or yeah, if he can bind that sweeper, it's game over. Thinking about his placement, he does have a Rising Phoenix in the drop zone off of guarding. I can't believe that one pass worked. At the same time, last game when Aiba hit 2 damage triggers, he also left it at 1 to pass for Nozawa, so I guess fair trade. Binds the Mega Rex, calls the Phoenix to back row rear guard. I think he's gonna call that grade 2 the Soul Blast to get that Phoenix out of Soul, yep. And then a Cho-Oh. Yeah. Oh, that's 3 draws. That is That is good knowledge for Nozawa. So he knows that Aiba isn't going to draw a lot anymore from um, his drive checks or his damage triggers, which is kind of huge. Attack Soul Blast, the Phoenix get a draw, and then calls out Shatura. Aiba takes it. Trooper. Ooh, yeah, that would have been a nice card to have. Cho-Oh goes in. He doesn't have crits or heals to guard. Oh, that's more draw triggers than I expected that he ran in his deck. I guess he's running 7 or 8 draw. He's attacking. Aiba's making sure numbers. Yeah, you don't really want to guard since you know you can kill him next turn. Nozawa's only on 4 cards in hand, it looks like. 4 or 5 cards. 4, yeah. So Nozawa's on 4. So he really wants to conserve his main combo pieces to go out. So if he can get 3 regress to stand, then it's game over. That grade 3 check did hurt. If that was anything but a grade 3, I think Nozawa would have a better chance of surviving. Shatura is still big enough to hit. I think it's 38 or something. Yeah, I think he has another Shatura in hand, so he's debating on it. Or no, oh, my mistake. Cho-Oh still hits. It's a 5k card though. Yeah, he just takes that. Yep. Past his turn, Soul Blast for the draw. Rides another Anger Blader, which is rare. Honestly. I don't think many of us have read 2 Anger Bladers. Or at least consistently, since consistently riding 2 Anger Bladers is pretty rare. And for the most part, if you play aggressive enough, you kill them on your first Anger Blader ride, so. Calls out Sweeper. Oh, 2 sweepers. Nozawa is smiling. He knows what's coming to him. He does have a Smilodon in hand, so that fulfills for 1. He just needs to... It looks like he has a Robario in hand also, so he just needs to set up for that. He might set up the Mega Rex, so I think it's a little bit too much gauge. You only need 2 gauges for each of those, but then you'll need an extra 3 for Mega Rex, unless you're planning to retire stuff before Anger Blader's ride, which that would be another 2, so 6 in total. But then you need to have another rear guard, so you need to have an extra card out there. Though Smilodon will fulfill 2 for 1 sweeper, and then Robario itself will fulfill 2 for another one, depending on how many gauges are on that. I mean, if you want to restand 3 right at the max, I think you just Smilodon, Excel Circle, call Robario, use the skill on an empty sweeper, and then put it as gauge, and then you spend the rest on Mega Rex. But it looks like he has 2 sweepers. That's a ton of feel. Okay. So everything it's infinitely better. He can kill Nozawa this turn though. Taking time since this is a pretty awkward situation with the cards in his hand, since he wants to get the max 3, but he also needs to make sure the rear guards have the power to hit over triggers. If they don't hit over triggers, well, it's not that great. Yeah, so looks like he's planning to call Smilodon to the other rearguard circle. Pretty sure he's going to leave it up. He's going to use Robario on probably one sweeper and then on Mega Rex. So calls out the Smilodon to the Excel circle. He's just counting gauges right now. Smilodon to the Excel circle, gives it to Mega Rex. Calls out the Nephilo. Okay, gauges it. And then, yeah, gauges onto that. And then Soul Blast to get the... Yep, that's what I thought. I think he Soul Blast for Mega Rex. No, he doesn't. Oh. Okay, so those two get plus an additional 10 on top. Yeah, so what it looks like, he's just gonna retire twice and get more gauge. So Mega Rex right now, 14, 24, 29. Decently big. Each of the sweepers are, well, the sweeper on the right column, Iba's right, is 34, while the one on the left is 39. Takes damage, it's a Shatura. So this one's 34. Ooh, gets a draw trigger. This is 39. So he's 10k up. It's not like it really matters. I mean, it kind of does. But it's basically just an extra 5k because Angular gives the front row plus 5. So it's an extra 5k. I think he's making sure of the number of gauges, since Mega Rex started with 2 at the beginning of the battle phase, and then he retired Smilodon. I think he's just explaining that, or he's just explaining the numbers that could possibly happen after he restands Mega Rex. He's at like 9 cards in hand, I think. Nozawa. Looks like it. So that looks like a PG setup, or just 2 really big triggers. Yeah, that's 9 cards in hand. Oh, it just looks like he has too many 5Ks in hand, since his last drive check was a grade 3 and a 5K draw trigger. Doesn't look like he'll be able to survive, since he's asking if it's 1 damage or not. Guards with the heal. Yeah, that's 42 to 39. This will be 25, which still hits over. Just depends on what he does here, because oh, okay, so he wants to be safe. So that's 2 to pass. 37 to 25. Iba's laughing like, yeah, I'm nervous, but I think I won. He doesn't have that many triggers left. Oh, he reveals a crit. That is huge. Nozawa is smiling. Oh, he's thinking about putting on Vanguard, huh? Okay, right sweeper, all effects. Thunderfilo. Yeah, I mean, that crit is still huge. That's now 49 to crit. Other sweepers 44. And then Mega Rex will be 14, 24, 34, 39. Why would you... yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's 39. That's 42. Oh, that was 25k card. That makes it 47 to his 44. He has no cards left. Oh, Aiba is praying. He has 4 cards in hand. It looks like... no, he has... yeah, he has 4 cards in hand. He is praying that he survives. He's counting his crits. Or no, just his triggers in general. Yep. They're both counting their triggers. Oh my god, the amount of draw triggers this man has hit. Both of them, actually. This last game's... Oh, that's 3 triggers in damage zone. They're just calculating odds. So, Aiba has seen 9 triggers as far as public knowledge. 9 triggers. I don't remember what else, or I think he saved a trigger in hand, so 10. So there'd be 6 left in deck. Though most of his heals are still left in deck unless they're under his gauges. As for Nozawa, it looks like there's 8 triggers out for him. So he has a decent chance. It just depends on what he drew. He can counterblast to bind the Mega Rex to get his Phoenix out, but he only has 1 Phoenix. Okay, he calls over to get the extra power. He sees if he can filter the grade 3 since he doesn't want to check a grade 3 right now. I mean, you just get the grade 3 and discard. It's not like he has anything in hand. He also gets a +5 off of it if he binds something. Okay, yeah, he filters Vanquisher. Looks like he has a decent amount of crits left in his deck unless he also plays 4. It looks like Aiba plays 4. Because of the fact that I haven't seen anything except for that one crit. At least that one crit art. I think Nozawa plays 5 because of those 2 crit arts. Unless he's like, aha, I'm gonna trick you. I actually play 4. They're both running draw heavy versions of their decks. And that makes sense. You want to draw into your pieces and have some sort of hand advantage. Yeah, binds the Mega Rex. He picks up the Excel marker. Oh, that's an extra crit. Okay, so there's 10 revealed as public knowledge. Or not 10 revealed as public knowledge, just 10 known of. Yeah, he still has a draw PG in hand. He's like, is that a draw PG? I don't know if I saw it correctly. He is on 4, so if he just takes it, he has to hit a crit. He's at 5 also, so he can't heal on 5. He has to heal on 6. Yeah, there's a PG. If he gets... Yeah. No, Nozawa's dead. Those are the worst dry checks he could have gotten, and he filtered through for grade 3s. Attacks a rear and discards it. Yeah, so there's no counterblast, but he can make his sweepers... Oh, he draws a Smilodon? It's game over. He can't survive. Even if he double heals, he can't survive. No, I would just call out Thunderphilo and not make him bigger. Just call him out since he has a 5k card in hand, and that'd make it 2 5k at oh, sure. Just guard with the 5k. Or no, I mean if he gets a heal trigger, he could want to pass the Vanguard. He does have, I think he has 2 left in deck. But I guess he could one past the Vanguard, but then he'd have to pull out 2 more heal triggers, so he's guaranteed dead, yeah. Oh my god, these games are insane. And I actually like the way Aiba plays. Yeah, so that was the end of game 3. Tachi's wins 2-1. So there's a little discussion portion after, right? I like how Aiba plays the deck. So the way Aiba plays is kind of conservative. Not really conservative, but the way he plays that, he analyzes see if his opponent will die, right? Since we saw at the beginning of the game, Nozawa was at 1 damage. So what Aiba decided to do was make a mini push. He called out Laser Rex, Mega Rex, and had a sweeper on board already. So he just restood only that sweeper, but he did push damage to make him go to 3. And Aiba himself was low on damage, so he knew he could just take next turn, right? Nozawa decided to kind of do the same things a little harder, since he called a Shatura from hand and pushed more damage, which was questionable, but I guess it's worth it in the end. But that enabled Aiba to get 2 Mega Rex attacks off, which was not good for Nozawa. I mean, Nozawa wouldn't have known that, obviously, but the way he was being aggressive wasn't ideal, I guess, against Taji's. But I mean, I can't say anything. These two are in WGP Standard Finals. They're there for a reason. Congrats to them. The way Aiba played was great. So this, it's what I think is the ideal way to play the deck, at least pre-restriction, is to not go unga bunga, I'ma drop all my cards and I don't care if you die, your hand cards are at least gonna go away. It's, hey, can I actually kill you this turn, and how can I set, if I can't, how can I set up for future plays, right? Since he did save cards in his hand, he tried to get advantage so that he could survive Nozawa's next turn, since that deck can also kill first grade 3 ride and have enough pieces in hand to kill him the turn after. He was setting up for the second grade 3 ride turn kill. And in doing so, allowed him to stay in the game for longer. It allowed him to push harder. Since, even though Nozawa bound his first sweeper, he had 2 more sweepers in hand because he kept them in hand. I think he drew one, but I don't remember. That last game was amazing, to say shortly. Since they both played great. Nozawa did all he could to pressure Aiba, to make him drop cards, and to also keep cards in his hand so that he could defend for the push after. And Aiba played it well as well. He kept cards in his hand for a future push. He tried to deal damage to Nozawa that he knew was at least, it took a lot of cards to guard. And if you're playing against Tachi's higher, even if you go to 2, that's nerve-wracking, because they have the possibility of killing you because of how big their units are, especially when they can restand 3 rear guards. If you're at 3, all they need is 2 rear guards to stand to actually be a threat. And it's just the way that these 2 guys played it out in this last match was outstanding. And with the playstyle that Aiba was using, I think is the ideal playstyle for this deck. This deck, at least. Though I know some of you, I know Josh, the world's member that we had on the podcast, he likes to play aggressive. He still makes a deck work, right? But it's just picking when to be aggressive and picking when to be conservative is what makes the deck good. Since if you're always aggressive and you somehow lose, right, and you don't know why, even though you're being aggressive, you push them to high damage, then, I mean, you overlooked something. You overlooked being conservative in some situations. But I guess that's it for my commentary. I didn't expect for this to be a best out of 3. But this was a really nice match to commentate, and I haven't done one of these in 2 years, actually. My last one was on a Great Nature match that I saw had a couple of misplays. I just wanted to point that match out. Links in the description if you want to check that out, though it is outdated. It was before Angry Blader got released. It was right as Great Nature got released. This is kind of in the same format as that, because I didn't know the names of most of the Great Nature cards, and I didn't know some of their abilities. I mean, kind of the same here, except I do know their abilities, but I don't really know their names. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, comment, support Dinosaur Lazy Bean Fight Club. It's our Facebook group for Itachi related stuff. We also have a Discord, by the way, so please join that too. I'll be coming out with more content. Hopefully. I do plan to release a highlights video for the big podcast that we had, since that was 3 hours long. I'm pretty sure most people don't want to watch through it, so I'll have highlights. Sorry for that stream quality also. Streamlabs wasn't dropping frames, so I thought the quality was fine until I rewatched the footage, and the picture quality was horrible since it would just die sometimes, and it would die for extended periods of time. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.